Greetings. Introducing Voices of Festival, brand new podcast series from the International African Arts Festival, created to keep you connected as we count down to our 55th year of culture, creativity, and community. Each week, hear directly from the artists, dancers, musicians, vendors, and community members who make this festival an unforgettable experience. Tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. on YouTube for Voices of Festival. Celebrate the culture, feel the rhythm, be part of the journey. Alafia, Hotep, Salamu Alaikum, Shalom. Welcome to Voices of Festival. I'm Adeyemi, Bandeli, co-host, along with my sister,
Sakina and Kinard. How are you today?
So we are really just moving forward with Voices of Festival. And we're going to introduce a little quirk in our production, because we're going to bring to you some folks who have been a part of the journey, who are artists. And so we're going to create a space not just to have conversation, but to have them share. But before we get into tonight's program, Sakina, I know you want to Ibaye many of those who have been with us. So if you would.
Yes, I just wanted to hold space for those who have transitioned into the next realm, and for all of the families that are grieving in the moment, but just to acknowledge our community leaders. Majuba Korashira Mujubatona Tikalab Jubutona Tikalab Ibaye. Ibaye, Honorable Babatunde Akowe, Ibaye, Salima Moyo Smith, sure. Ibaye, Abu Badika, Ibaye, Asada Shakur, Ibaye, G2 Wusi, sure. Ibaye, Nana Denizulu, sure. Ibaye, Stanley Kinard, Ibaye, Mze Moyo, sure. Ibaye, Dick Gregory, Ibaye, Kuja Bandeli, Ibaye Imam Jamil Al-Amin, a.k.a. H. Rat Brown, Ibaye Viola Plummer, Ibaye Baba Heru, Ibaye Baba Alukashe, Ibaye to all of our community leaders and ancestors that have walked before us, that lay the foundation, that stand by us now. Multiply. We give honor, we give praise. Ashe.
Ashe. So, in keeping with this, Sakina, I just returned from Jamaica celebrating my 75th birthday.
Yes.
And blessed to have my children with me. But it took on a much more serious perspective, because we stayed at a locally owned hotel. And while there's been considerable damage to areas of Jamaica, the island is open for visitors and supporters. We were especially moved by the work of local Jamaicans in the recovery effort. Wherever you went, while there had been a lot of disruption and stuff thrown around, you also saw many places where people had just gathered up all of the debris and stuff, so that there was an order to it. So when the cleanup process takes place, the folks with the trucks are not coming to put the trash together. It's already there. And it was really significant. So I say that because there are people who don't want to go to Jamaica because of what they've heard. And what I'm saying, having just come back from there, go. If you know reputable groups who are engaging in fundraising, we encourage you to support. We met a group, a sister, in fact, from the States, who owns one of the hotels called the Treehouse Resort. If you look them up in their grill, they are doing wonderful work in taking whatever is sent to them. They've got a hookup where they're able to get stuff in through their connections with folks who work at the airlines, etc. And then they are taking this material directly into the affected areas. So once again, that's the Treehouse Resort.
Treehouse Resort.
Jamaica needs plenty of help, and it is safe to visit. It is safe to visit. Next thing, Sakina, you mentioned Viola Plummer. We want to acknowledge her because the December 12th movement is just a few days away. And while she made her transition last year, an incredible fighter, exemplifies the women in our movement who keep it moving forward. And our next guest played also a significant role in supporting Imam Jamil. And I want to just introduce Brother Abu Muhammad. Now, Abu has history with us going back to the very beginning. He recited poetry at the 1972 festival, 1 year after we began, and this was still on Claver Place. He is the remaining poet of the African Poetry Theater Ensemble, which consisted of the Kwanzaa griot, Yusuf Waliyaya, who was a teacher at the Uhuru Sasa School. Yes. He recorded the Kwanzaa CD in commemoration of Yusuf Waliyaya, who had introduced him to Kwanzaa. Abu Muhammad describes himself as a poetician poet, educator, and he's founder and chief executive administrator at Pyramid Youth Incentive, Inc. And before we bring out Abu, we want to also announce, and this is crucial, the upcoming Kwanzaa celebration by the Uhuru Sasa Shule alumni. And this is taking place on December 27th, which would be Kuchichagalia, at Restoration Plaza, 1368 Fulton Street, from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. For more information, and we'll post this up a little bit later, you can contact Baba Baraka at 646-552-5478. Let me at this time welcome my brother, Abu Muhammad. Welcome.
Welcome, brother.
Peace.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Good. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Abu,
sir.
let's continue with the vibe that we on in terms of remembrance and paying tribute. You were one of the significant organizers in the support of Imam Abdul, whom I, go back to H. Rap Brown. Tell us a bit about that work.
Okay, well, I wasn't quite an organizer. However, keep in mind that Imam Jamil at one point was the emir of the Darul Islam movement, which was on Herkimer Place under Yahya Abdul Karim. So what he did was he organized all of the imams in New York City, pretty much in the East Coast area. So I first met Imam Jamil in Detroit at the African World Festival. And I supported him pretty much, first of all, by my prayers, first of all, but the work he's done, as being a Muslim and as also being, in terms of his faith, but being a community empowerment person that was for all people, pretty much. A major loss, and a major loss in a serious environment. And coming from, as a matter of fact, the first time I seen a picture of Jamil Alameen was when the East was in the Armory. And the picture was going toward a bathroom, him dressed in a beret, black leather jacket, and the quote was, "The price of dope is death." Remember that picture, Adeyemi?
Yeah.
Right. You see, so there's a lot of other brothers and sisters that were like Imam Talib, who were integral in Free Jamil Alameen. That unfortunately he's no longer here. He's also an ancestor as well. But the work Jamil, Imam Jamil is just someone that when I started writing poetry, that I kind of programmed myself with his knowledge to stay. I don't write, as you know, crazy poetry. I'll put it. It has to be relative to our people, revolution. You understand, in the sense of change. And I want to make that clear because we're not ready for the other one. I mean, I don't see that. We've never been. However, there is a revolution of the mind that we do need to partake of, and I think that's what Jamil, as he became Muslim, was pretty much pushing and talking about, to my recall.
Thank you for that. Sakina, you are constantly making sure that we connect our guests with the festival. Is there anything you want to ask Brother Abu relative to that?
Yes, I wanted to know, well, first, it's a pleasure meeting you, brother. And I do want to ask about festival, but I do want to talk about what you just mentioned in terms of revolution of change versus revolution of the mind. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so revolution is all one and the same. Revolution, in other words, for us to evolve into a Nguzu Saba. The 7 principles are a foundation of what needs to be done. So I said revolution of change. It's like, there's a group that came to my mind. It's a song called Time. And it mentions change, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't call it up now. But in other words, things cannot be, everything must change. Nothing remains the same. So we cannot continue as a people to do the same things that we've done, because we'll keep getting the same things that we've always gotten. So Imam Jamil was someone that embraced Islam wholeheartedly. Well, there's a passage in Quran that says oppression is worse than slaughter. So that tells you clearly that, we can't just lay down and accept any form of oppression because it's slaughter. So, Imam Jamil, I mean, we all know his background. We know his background. So what he did in his teachings was he made it clear from a Quranic standpoint, which didn't interfere with his nationalist or revolutionary stance. As one and the same. So change is inevitable. Change must happen. The mind must change. We must begin to evolve into a more succinct, unified body. The first principle of Nguzu Saba.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting that you're associating the faith with the revolution, because that is a topic that we spoke about with Ayanna Gregory, Sister Ayanna Gregory, in our last interview about how we evolve the revolution, and spiritual grounding was at the base of the conversation. So for us to come back in our next interview and start off with that is powerful. Is a powerful message in terms of evolution of the mind. And what she came up with is really, well, what do we want? And stop being in a mindset of being in a state of resistance of the oppression, but more so in the state of creating what it is that we want to see happen moving forward, and knowing that we have the power to do that.
Indeed.
So, yes.
Abu, why don't you drop something on us? Because that's why we got you here also. Hear the spoken word, the power of the word.
Okay, I want to say something briefly to Sister Sakina. Your dad and your Baba, was a brother that he was very dear to me. I was his job developer at PS1, I think it was 150 in Brownsville?
I remember you. Yes.
Right, right. And you know, Barbara Stan, I met Barbara Stan first at Heritage House. And when I go there, I say, listen, you know who the first director was? Like, they don't even really know. It's like his name doesn't even exist. So I'm trying to reach your mom, because I want to do a celebration for Barbara Stan at Heritage House.
Okay, that would be dope.
We'll talk. We'll talk on that.
Okay, definitely.
So,
Thank you.
I want to drop this piece. It's in honor of Yusef, a piece I wrote called Nguzu Saba. Kwanzaa, a time for you and me to remember what great people we be. Kwanzaa, a time for us to see the importance of our unity. That we were robbed from the East to establish the West, we must regain our culture, nothing less. Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving Day, no relation to the nation of us as ex-slaves. Left the work and responsibility, these are things for our community as we build a better way for our young by teaching them their culture and refinement is strong. It is but one purpose we do these things, to let loud the bells of freedom ring. Kwanzaa, a time of creativity, Kwanzaa, a time of total peace. Through faith we journey on and on, self-determination was right for wrong. Harambe, 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 I say, let's pull together in a cooperative economic way.
Yeah. Keeping the Kwanzaa theme.
Absolutely. And this is actually a celebration of Dance Africa. African dance, activity, motion, current, flow, the story of our people long ago. African dance like a song unsung, and the message that our elders hum. African dance at the beginning of our future as we approach the end. African dance is the heartbeat of our precious children. African dance is the International African American Ballet. African dance is the sun's most radiant ray. African dance is calabash djembe style, like mother breastfeeding her child. African dance is Dini Zulu performing before El Hajj Malik. African dance is the sound of 1,000 feet. African dance is Sabah Uproar Free. African dance, the rhythm of Baba Chief Bey's drum beat. African dance is music to a warrior's ears. African dance is the removal of all our fears.
Oh man, you know, I had to make note there. You international, Calabash, Dini Zulu, Sabah, Chief Bey, and of course Baba Ishangi. Man, you just took us back to the roots.
For real.
Took us back to the roots. Thank you so much. Listen, before we take a quick break, Sakina is the person who keeps us on track in terms of reminding our viewers how they can support us. So Sakina, you got it.
Yes, everyone, please like, comment, subscribe, share, rewatch the old episodes, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, IAA Festival, donate, IAAfestival.org. We are fundraising at the moment. Pledge for 55 next year is our 55th year, and it's going to be popping, but we need your assistance and support. So $5.55, $55, $55,000, whatever denomination of 55. Tell 55 people to donate $5.55. We would dearly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakina. Abu, one of the things that we do is we let folks have an opportunity to reflect back to some of the activities that occurred at festival, or for those that weren't there, let them see what they missed. So we're going to take a quick recap of Festival 54.
Straight ahead.
Gotta see the big picture, it's a masterpiece. And yo, step out the box, don't be confined. Choose his sight, and don't become blind. Go as long as sunshine, so do you. The blocks of obstacles that go through your test. Even if my clothes is holy, my spirit is so strong that it makes them holy. Come talk to me if you do not know me. No one's above or below me. Yo, superstar, who you are. You're a superstar, no matter who you are. It's he that is he, slavery, can't never destroy. God of the did it. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're with us. So check it out.
All right. So for those of you who missed it, make sure you're out next year. Let's, Abu, talk a bit about your journey with us through the festival. We talked about your beginning in 72. How else have you connected with us?
Okay, I was 18 in 1972. A new poet on the scene. I'm repping the first, and I'll say it I'm the first brother in Brooklyn that I know of, not from the Caribbean, with locks.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm repping that.
Oh, yeah.
Because let's look back carefully. I'm talking about born and bred in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
In Brooklyn, right? At festival, you'll tell me if I'm incorrect. On that day and beyond and before, I don't recall anybody with locks. And if they are, but anyway, that's another story. So anyway, 1972, I was married, 18 years old, had a child, lived on President and Utica. I wrote poetry. Ironically, I used to write poetry to the point of I wrote all genres of poetry. And my wife at the time, when I would write love poetry, thought I was writing to somebody else. I said, no, sweetie, I'm honing my skill. I want to practice every form of poetry that I could write. You're saying to get it together. Not that I'm writing to you really, but anyway. So I heard about festival, and I just went to festival. I was on the program. I asked, could I perform? And I recited a poem called Poppin', which I don't remember it so much. But that's the first poem that I wrote, which actually drew me into becoming a last poet. And I think Adeyemi has that part of my bio where I was supposed to actually take Sheikh Suleiman's place when he became the Imam of Mukminin Mosque. So Jalal at the time dug Poppin'. And so I would train with Jalal every Monday, I think it was.
I'm sorry for a moment, please, because we have to be mindful about our audience, and all of them are not as savvy. So talk about who that group was that you are now kind of subbing for.
The last poets were the grandfathers of rap. At that time, you had Imam Baraka, you had Sonia Sanchez, but the last poets was actually the voices of Malcolm in poetry. That's my description of the last poets. They came out with the first album called Die Nigga Die. I'm sorry, Niggas Scared of Revolution, Jones Coming Down, On the Subway. They were Muslim poets, Yoruba poets, who were community empowered minded, and they were first founded or discovered at I think it's East Wend in Harlem.
Yes, sir.
In Harlem. And they took the name from Willie Kogastili, a South African poet who said, "These are the days of the last poets."
Oh.
That's how they came about.
Willie.
See what I'm saying? That's right.
Yeah.
So at the East, again, first time I recited, years passed. Still went to the East on Flavor Place, but then at Boys and Girls High, I think Mensah was actually MC at Boys High on that particular day, right? So I was supposed to perform as a single poet, but it wasn't time. So Mensah said, which I didn't know John at the time, he said, why don't you ask the brother here, you could perform with them. That was APT Ensemble. And I did. The rest is history. We recorded an album called
now, again, that's the African Poetry Theater
Ensemble.
Right.
We recorded an album in 1988, I think it was, called Ku'ulula Iyazania. We're the first group on the East Coast to record any South African music before Miles did Tutu. That's a fact. So that's us, APT Ensemble, John Bartusi Branch, Yusef Wali Yahya, Clet Mendoza, Michael Williams, Abdurrahman was on congas. We recorded right in Bed-Stuy at Ralston Studio. When we got there, Jimmy Cliff was recording before, so we had to come back the next day. All this is beautiful history.
Hey, you have to yield to the elders.
So festival for me is it's important. If you see a tear cover my eyes, because that's where I learned culture. That's where I learned the village of people. To see people in kente and rabal and mudcloth and kufis and jalabias and unity. Never any struggle, any negativity at East Festival. None. Never. The world, New York City should just give us whatever we want.
Hey.
Because we are the living example of having a peaceful celebration in the village.
And I think, let me just add to that, if I might, Abu. Not only is it peaceful, but it is truly reflective of a Pan-African experience in terms of all of the, and Sakina talks about this a lot, but all of the cultural groups that exist in Brooklyn and in the city found a place there. Not only at festival, but at the East. You could be with the Nation of Islam, or you could be with Yahweh. It didn't matter. There was never any of that negative stuff. Everybody was welcome. And I think that for me is probably one of the hallmark features of both the East and festival. And it is attributed to Baba G. Tuweyusi and his ability to attract and respect an array of people and groups, you know. That's why he was such an effective organizer.
No question.
Abu, you want to give us another piece, please, before we roll out?
Before we do that, I want to say one thing. So I've been working with Baba Segun for the past 2 years as the head of the Peace Patrol, which has been brought back. So my involvement with festival right now, going on its 3rd year, is the Peace Patrol organizer. So I want to slide that in, but I want to just I'm born and bred in Bed-Stuy. Stephanie Mills' family was my next door neighbors on Green Avenue between which is now Marcus Garvey, but it was Sumner and Throop. When I say next door neighbors, we were her brother Alan was my best friend. So this piece is called Bed-Stuy Blues. Brownstones off the hook, backyard cooks, people, places, and things, scooter rides, seesaws and slides, church bell rings, snowball fights, flying kites, Coco Livio 1, 2, 3. It's all good in the neighborhood, block to block parties, mom and pop shops where hip meets hop, with street corner news, where grown folks swing as the children sing Bed-Stuy Blues.
Man.
Our heads bopping.
Yeah. Sakina, you're a little too young to remember some of those things, aren't you?
Not at all. Not at all.
Coco Livio, what is that one? Coco Livio 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh. You remember that, Sakina?
I don't remember Coco Livio.
See?
No.
All right, which one do you remember?
I remember, you put me on the spot.
Yeah.
I know you remember Flying Kites. I know you remember that.
Yes, I remember Flying Kites. I remember Double Dutch rocking.
Snowball fights, yeah.
Wait, but Flying Kites, you mean the actual Flying Kites, or was that a
Kites,
game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The only thing you didn't mention was stickball.
Yeah, and Skelly.
And oh my God.
I remember Jacks, Marbles and Jacks.
Skelly and Chinese handball.
We used to mess up people's hallways because we wanted to get those real big heavy ones.
Right.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I really think one year we got to do a little Bed-Stuy reflection and bring all those games out for people to play. That would be an incredible experience.
It sure would.
And particularly for those of our genre and age who are still around that can remember that. And we can teach some of these young'uns some of these games that we used to play.
Well, when they had
squeeze in one more real quick.
Okay, so I want to say this, right? I founded the African Drum Institute at Bedford Academy High School, where we're teaching classical African drums and percussions. This is our 4th year going in existence. We are not funded, so we're asking the community, and we would prefer the community support rather than grants. We accept grants, but I believe in community empowerment. It's called the African Drum Institute. If you can see this, not sure.
Okay,
But
you can give us a picture of it. We can put it in.
okay, so it
African
says
Drum
in the
Institute.
village. I'm sorry.
No,
You said
go ahead.
something, Sakina? Okay. It
No,
says in the village,
go
in the
ahead.
village where in the village where drummers meet and the people sway to the rhythms with dancing feet. The children play in the waters of being free. Come one, come all, majestically. Sounds of djembe and guzu saba, flowing lapas, twirling akbadas. Hand to drum, melodies unique, the spirit of Uhuru Sasa, complete. Power to the people, and so it be, a time for empowering communiversity. In a state of divine spirituality, manifest reality, voices of the people born to be free, in the village of the African Drum Institute University.
Yes, yes. Abu Muhammad, poetician, educator, founder, and chief executive administrator at Pyramid Youth Incentive, Inc. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. And just grateful to have you and for all of the sharing. Listen, man, this one was real interesting. And we're really going to see about trying to do some of those things at festival. By the way,
Okay.
this year we will be at Lincoln Terrace Park. And so, you know, we know you'll be out there, but that'd be a great thing. And some of these young people like Sakina and them can see some of these games we used to play. Sakina,
Okay.
remind the folks how they can support us, please, as we roll out.
Yes,
Absolutely.
indeed. Like, comment, subscribe. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your ideas. And if you want to get on the show for an interview, contact us. Link me. We are on Facebook and IG, IAA Festival, at IAA Festival. You can reach us on the website, iaafestival.org. And we are pledging for 55. Next year is our 55th year, and we will be located at Lincoln Terrace Park. Please make your pledge for $5.55. Get 55 people to submit that, please. And we really, really, really would appreciate it because, you know, we come from grassroots fundraising, and that is our foundation. So we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
Yes. And so, Abu Muhammad, once again, thank you to all of you. We appreciate you joining us on another segment of Voices of Festival. I'm Adeyemi Bandeli. We thank you. You all stay loving and be blessed.
Yeah, be blessed. Peace.